So I do a monthly newsletter, and in that monthly newsletter, I have a section called the Link Lowdown. And the Link Lowdown is a place where I share links to interesting things that I've found across the internet over the last month. That section is incredibly popular. It's actually one of the main reasons why lots of people subscribe to the newsletter. They're looking to see what I'm sharing. They're looking to see what's interesting right now. And they just want to find cool and interesting things. Link Lowdown for me has basically become its own business because it's so popular. Each of the links in Link Lowdown get thousands of clicks. So it only makes sense to now expand Link Lowdown, make it into its own thing that can live by itself. I've actually wanted to build this for a little while now, and I'm going to be using Framer for it, mainly because I'm very familiar with Framer. My team is very familiar with Framer as well. I asked Framer if they'd be willing to sponsor the series. They were like, let's do it. So yeah, it's great to have Framer support the project. I really like Framer. I've been recommending Framer on the channel well before it became as popular and as big as it is now. Primarily because if you're a designer like me, where you've used interfaces like Figma and other similar things like Photoshop as well, Framer just seems very familiar. It has a user interface like any other sort of design app, but you're using it to make actual websites that you can make live rather than just designing them. So here we have Framer open, and we're pretty much starting from a blank slate. However, the first thing I did do was sort out the content management. So I already had some links posted. My team has put together some links here just so that I have some content to design around. And what we've done is we've made a collection called links, and that has the primary set of links basically. And then we have link categories as well. We have link tags, and then we also have articles and categories, but that is separate. We're sort of leaving articles and categories as is. That's what you get as default when you're making a CMS. But these are the main three ones we're going to be focusing on: links, link categories, and link tags. We can see when we go into a link, we have the thumbnail, we have the title, we have the link itself, then we have the content, the slug, the link categories, so we can add however many categories we like, and link tags as well. And we'll be showing this content on the front end of the website. So first up, let's add a navigation/header. I like to use the default Framer option. I just think it's easy, gets going, it works straight away, and it's also responsive. So I'm actually going to change the spacing between them. So I'm going to select the desktop and then select space between so that it puts the links on the other end of the site. Let's add some padding as well to the links. Let's just add 20 like so. And then what we'll do is we'll just remove some of these links because I don't actually need all of them for now. We'll put in here submit, and later on we'll link that to like a submit page, but that's not important right now. We just want to have our header done. In here, I'm actually just going to put a text logo. So let's put the text logo in here and call it Link Lowdown like so. So that's our navigation done. Desktop with the navigation nav bar and a button on the end as well. Well, a link button, that would call it. And then let's add a sort of description of what our website is going to be. So I'm just going to put in something very quickly here. Let's change the font size. Let's make this much bigger. Let's make it 30 pixels. Yeah. And then you know what? I'll also add a subheading as well. We'll make this a lot smaller. We'll make it 14, and we'll also change the color. And then what we'll do is we'll actually put these together. So we'll add a stack, call this the hero description like so, and that actually already adds a gap, which is nice. We'll leave it at 10. And then what we'll do actually is we'll select our desktop and add a gap. So let's add 100 pixels of gap. And what that will do is that will add a gap between all of the sections that we add to our homepage. I feel like we have a good base here with the navigation header and a description about what the website is about. Now we're going to add our CMS. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to Insert, we're going to Collections, and we can see our collections already here. We're going to add the links collection. And that adds it there for now, but we're actually going to drag it into our desktop like so. Boom. Okay, cool. So we have our CMS in there, but it is only a list right now. And I don't want it to be a list. I want it to be a grid. The links item here is our actual collection. And then the link itself is each item in the collection. So we're going to select the links, and then we're going to make this a grid. We're going to make it 3 columns, and then we're going to make the gap between each item 30 like so. And obviously right now it still doesn't look right, but we are going to fix that. We're going to select our links collection. Now that we've added the grid, we're going to select width and we're going to select fill. And now that's going to actually fill out the width of the page. However, I want to give this a max width because depending on the screen size, if you have a really wide screen, I don't want it to be really spread apart. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a max width to our links collection. And we'll just give it a max width of, let's just say 960 for now. There we go. And now we need to adjust our actual items in the list. Actually, one thing we will do is we'll change how many are shown at one time. Currently there's 10, we'll change it to 9 so that it better matches our grid layout. Now let's go to the link itself and let's start changing the direction. So we're going to change the direction to be stacked like so. Then we're going to select the image and we're going to make this fill. And then what we want to do is we want to actually give it a height. So let's put the height to 220. Let's do it at 220 for now, and then we're going to lock it in. Now, anytime we actually compress the website, maybe we're looking at on mobile, the images themselves will also scale. They won't just be squished, which is important because also we don't want our images to be squished. But we already have a good basic layout here. It's working. So this is good. This is really good. Let's go to our desktop and let's adjust the height to fit the content so we can actually see all of our content. But it's looking good already. Let's adjust our title. So right now we can already see it's using some text styles that already come with Framer. And this makes it much easier just to have some ready to go text styles. You can edit these, you can change these. It's currently using the body text style, but we're actually going to make a new style and we'll just use the heading 2 as an example and we'll rename it. We'll call it card title like so. Now that is our new style. Now we can start adjusting it. So I'm actually going to change the size of this to 15. I'm going to make it semi-bold like so, and I'm also going to make it darker. I'm going to make it 1. I might actually make it even smaller. Let's adjust it. Let's make it 14. Looking good so far. Let's also add a border and a shadow to our images because that can really help it pop out of the page and make it look more like a card design. So we're going to go to shadows and we're going to add a blur. We're going to change this to, because I like my shadows being very subtle, we're going to change it to 10%. Then we're going to add a border, solid border, like so, but that looks way too harsh. And what I like to do is I like to bring it down to around 5%. I'm actually going to adjust the shadow to be even more transparent. Let's make it 5%. There we go. And I think that looks pretty good. If we zoom in, it's a very, very subtle border and shadow design there now. And I feel like it just helps it pop off the page a bit more. It looks more like a thumbnail. Now let's add our description and our tags. So we're actually just going to add another text layer here. Oh, where's it gone? Let's put in a text layer. Let's just name it description for now. And we're going to move this down below the title. And then we need to attach it to our CMS. So we have the layer selected. We go to content. We're going to set the variable. We're going to select content. And there we go. We now have our description in there as well. But it's way too big. We need to adjust that. So let's change the size of our content. We're actually going to add a new style again. We'll call it, actually we need to rename it, don't we? We need to rename it to link description, like so. Let's edit that now. Let's change the font size to 12, make it much smaller. We won't make the letter spacing as tight. I think that looks good. We'll maybe make the line spacing a bit tighter though. Cool. There we go. What I don't like though is the amount of content that is showing. So we're going to truncate the content so that it only shows the first line of it. So when we select our layer, we're going to then go to the text and we're going to select this button here, the plus icon, truncate, and there we go. It will then make it one line. We can of course adjust it if we like. So there are truncate adjustments here. So we can make it 1 line, 2 lines, whatever we like. We're just going to make it 1 line for now. What I'm also going to do is I'm actually going to make these a stack. So I'm going to choose the title and the content, make these a stack so that I can make the gap a bit tighter. I'm going to make the gap 5 instead of 10. And then finally, what I'm also going to do is I'm actually going to select the title and I'm going to make it fill so that we have our title on the left-hand side rather than in the middle. I just think it looks cleaner. This is personal preference. Not everyone needs to do exactly what I'm doing. Now we want to show the categories for each of these items, which is a bit more complex than just linking it to a text item. We need to go to insert, we need to go to collections, and then we need to get our link categories like so. And then we actually need to move the link categories into our stack. So let's move it into here. There we go. But we can see it's showing multiple links that aren't actually relevant to the item. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we've selected our link categories, and then we're going to go to filters. We're going to go to link category, and we're going to select static. And then we have a few options here. We're going to select this, and we're going to put is included in, and then we're going to add value, set value to link categories. And there we go. It will show us the category that has been assigned to that link. We can also change this. So currently we just have the link categories. We can actually change this to link tags as well. And then if we change the filter again, make sure that we are selecting set variable link tags like so. Now we can see the tags for each of these if we wanted to do that as well. But we're just going to leave it as link categories for now. And then we're just going to quickly change our link category styling. So let's make it fill. There we go. Choose our link category. Change the style of this. We actually need to go to title. We'll get rid of the style completely on this one and just change it to 11 like so. And then what we'll do is we'll actually add some background to it so that it looks like a pill design basically. So let's select our link category, choose a fill. We'll add a very subtle grey background like so. Give it some radius, maybe too much actually, just give it a radius of 3 for now. And then let's give it some padding as well. So we'll actually leave the padding top and bottom, but we'll add some padding to the right and the left. Maybe a bit too much. Let's make it 4 either side. There we go. That looks much better already. It might also make this medium actually. Okay, so we have our link card ready. I'm pretty happy with this design. I think it works. But what we need to do now is we actually need to make the detailed link page. So when you click on this, it goes to a page that's on the website. So it needs an actual page. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to pages, then we're going to add, and we're going to choose a new CMS page, and we're going to choose our links. So details page, there we go. This is now our detail page for the link. I mean, it already doesn't look too bad, but what we want to do is we actually want to copy this navigation and put it in our individual links page so that we can just paste that in. Make sure it's at the top. Cool. We also actually want to make sure that our gap is the same, and then we want to get rid of all of this for now. There we go, so that it matches the rest of our website. I'm going to make sure this is fill. Cool. And you know what, that actually doesn't look too bad as it is, but let's just make some quick adjustments for it. Let's reduce the gap to, let's make it 50 for now. We have our description already. We'll also change the image radius, bring that down to 8, like so. And then we need to add our actual link button, which goes to what we're linking to. So let's add that in. So let's call it find out more. There we go. We'll bring that down below the content because that's where we want it. Make sure it's set to fill. We also want it to actually be the same width as this. So let's actually add a stack here. We'll make this, we'll remove this for now. We'll give this a max width of 600 pixels. Cool. And then we're going to link this to our link. So we've selected our layer, set variable, link, boom, there we go. And then I want to make this a button. So actually let's make this fit content like so. Let's make sure that our stack has the distribution to the start and to the left like so. Let's add a stack to this, call it button, like so. We'll make sure that the width of it is fit content. We'll add some background. We'll actually just use the same blue as the link. There we go. Make the text white. Give it some padding. Oh, actually, let's give it some radius first. So let's give it a radius of 3 and then give it some padding. So let's add 10, 10. Oh, that's not right. There we go. And then let's also change the font size to the same font size as the body. So the body font size is 16, so let's also make this 16. Oh. Let's also make this 16. There we go. I actually might adjust this because I think it might be a bit too much. Let's make it, let's make it 15, 15. And then let's make this 7, 7. Oh, 7. There we go. I think that looks better. Now, finally, we actually need to link this button to the link of the product. So I've got the button selected. I'm going to select link to, set variable, link. Boom. Let's make it a new tab as well. So now when we preview our website and we hit this button, it will open it up and work in a new tab. Fantastic. That's exactly what we want. Now, let's go back to our homepage because we need to make some adjustments because we obviously need to make sure that this now links to the actual detail page that we just made. So we're going to select link, link to, set variable, slug is set. When yes, select link to slug. There we go. Perfect. We have a working website. Just need to add some minor design adjustments. But when I click on Flighty, it goes to that product. When I click on the basketball, it goes to the basketball. When I click on Keynote, it goes there. When I click on the Find Out More, opens up a new link with the Keynote app. This is working fantastically. So now let's just add a quick footer. So I'm just going to add a text layer made by Olia link lowdown. You can't see it because it's white right now. So we need to adjust that. Let's change the font color to be a light color like that. Make it much smaller. And then what we'll do is we'll make it a stack. Add some padding to it. The main thing is we want padding at the bottom. 40 pixels. Cool. I think that works. We have also 2 full stops there. Cool. And then what we'll do is we'll make this a component. So create component, call it footer. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy our footer and go to our links page and also paste it in there so it's at the bottom. So we have our basic website working. Now all I need to do is really just make some minor design adjustments, but we've built the main bulk of the website and the way things should work, the grid, the CMS and the CMS detail page very quickly. We have something working, something going, and I can release this. I can put it online, make it live, I can publish it and have people start using it. Because I found that as long as I have something that's working and ready to go, I can always make the minor styling adjustments, the last sort of 10-20% after I've made it live. Because the last 10-20% always take the longest. As long as you actually have something ready to go, something working, I think that is important. This is now my link lowdown section of my newsletter working as a proper website where people can go and find links and go through the archives, see what I've posted in the past that otherwise wouldn't be able to find. And there's also quite a bit of effort to go through my newsletters, previous newsletters, and find links to interesting things. Now I can just have one place where all of it belongs. Massive thanks to Framer, of course, for supporting this project. I would highly recommend checking out Framer. I have been a big advocate for Framer well before they even knew who I was. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's just very easy to get going and make stuff with it.